Hi guys, welcome back. For me, fighting for my rights was absolutely the right choice, but it's not always the right choice for everyone. This process can drag on for years, and it can take a lot out of you. There were plenty of times when I thought about quitting myself just because I wanted it to be over. But I discovered once we're on this path, there are no easy exits. We can drop our claim whenever we want, but there's no going back to the way things used to be. So I'd never encourage any of you to jump into a fight like this without giving some serious thought to whether you can make it the whole way through. And to that end, today I want to share with you some situations where fighting might not be your best option. Keep in mind that I'm not an attorney, I'm just another worker who went through this, and before you make a final decision about your case, I encourage you to talk it over with a good employment attorney in your area. So with that said, let's talk about when fighting might not be your best option. Number one, if you can work something out with your employer without having to resort to legal action, I encourage you to do that. Legal battles like this aren't easy. They're expensive, they can drag out forever, and they can be extremely taxing both physically and emotionally. So if you have a chance to work it out with your employer without going to court, it's worth a shot. 2, you might not want to fight if you can easily get another job somewhere else. If your boss is harassing you every day and you can move away from them without losing too much money or benefits, maybe just move on. Over the course of my 30-plus years at NASA, I had several supervisors who harassed me on the basis of gender. And every one of those times, I ended up finding myself a new job and asking HR to help me move into it. And that probably wasn't great for my career in the long haul because I was having to reestablish myself a lot. But on the other hand, it got me out of some bad situations that were only going to get worse. Unfortunately, we can't always just change jobs and move on. With my failure to accommodate claim, I was too sick to reestablish myself in a whole new place. And I was only 2 years from retirement, which meant that wherever I went, I wasn't going to be able to stay there for very long, which didn't exactly put me at the top of people's list. That brings me to number 3. You may not want to fight if you're in poor physical or mental health. I know quite a few of you who have had to drop your case for this reason, and I get it. This process requires a lot of energy and stamina, and sometimes we just don't have it. There were plenty of times when I wasn't sure I did. There are some things we can do to help ourselves make it through. I made quite a few lifestyle changes to try to heal my body and rebuild some of my strength and stamina. Feeding my body the nutrients it needed, staying hydrated, going to bed early so that I could get enough sleep in spite of the insomnia, trying to get some gentle movement every day, and emotionally, by trying to be kind and compassionate to myself and the people I cared about. And I was lucky. All that worked for me. If it hadn't worked, I would have had to drop my case because winning is not worth sacrificing our health. A 4th reason not to fight is when we can't find the legal help we need to win. These cases aren't about right and wrong. They're about the law. And to win, we either have to be able to learn enough about the law to represent ourselves, which is nearly impossible, or we have to be able to find and afford an attorney to represent us. Luckily, there are attorneys out there who offer contingency fee arrangements, if they think your case is winnable and worth enough. But I hear from quite a few of you who tell me that trying to find an attorney has been just about as frustrating for you as the discrimination itself. If you're in the private sector making 6 figures at a high-profile employer, well, your chances of finding representation are pretty good. If you're a low-wage earner at a mom-and-pop shop, or if you're in the federal sector, it's going to be harder. Going pro se is an option for some of us, especially if we have a strong case that's backed up by a lot of evidence, if we have an aptitude for doing legal research and formulating legal arguments. But be honest with yourself about your capabilities and don't fight unless you're pretty sure you can do this. And finally, 5. You may not want to fight if you're in a situation where fighting could damage your professional reputation and affect your employment prospects long term. Some of us run in smaller circles than others, professionally speaking. For instance, if you're a military intelligence specialist, there are probably only a few places that you're going to be able to do that kind of work. In a world like that, it's more likely that prospective employers are going to find out about your complaint and hold it against you. It may not be legal, but Neither was the discrimination that you're fighting right now. I chose to fight, but for some people, choosing not to fight can be the most practical and strategic decision that you could possibly make, depending on your specific situation. Before you decide either way, weigh all the possible costs of fighting, physical, emotional, professional, and legal, and weigh those against how likely you think you are to win and how much you stand to gain if you do win. And after you've thought it through for yourself, check your thinking by talking to a good employment attorney if you can, and talking to some people who know you really well. Then make your choice as strategically as you possibly can. That's what I got today, guys. I'll see you next time. Till then, take care and hang in. Fight smart and hang in to win. Hey, real quick, I just wanted to send out a thank you to those of you who gave me suggestions about things to see and do with my niece and nephew in Chicago. We couldn't fit it all in, but we did as much of it as we possibly could, and the rest is on the list for next time. So thanks again. I'll see you soon, and take care.